suppose it's one of those things where I grab the tractor and then he'll start going and getting it.
I bought a tractor, so I wouldn't
Yeah.
find it all the time. About the time I wanted to use one of the kids, it was always tied up.
Just think it's out of there.
More money.
They never extend spray.
I don't think
Try
there should
these
be an
piles.
exception, you know, I harped on the library forever.
I'm afraid I'm gonna quit
And
it
ever
for long
and
now.
ever, and finally got them doing it on a regular.
Basis.
No.
I know, that's what I said.
And I've had flags all over it, but
That's
they've
what I'm
been
gonna
there
bring
for
up
4
on my,
years, so now
because
they're
I have
failing,
notes
so.
from our last meeting. I mean, there's stuff, so they need to be saying what they're doing, what they're working on. We're gonna have extra money, though, we gave them extra money this year, so they need to kind of, you know, prove, not prove, but, you know, justify why they deserve that. Just as much as any other committee.
That they need to
And I mean, they
for
don't have
spraying.
it, or, you know, analyze it,
Making sure that they have
some.
like,
No,
right
just
in
put
the
some
water.
up there, and
If it
they
wasn't-
have one of the easier routes.
Uh-oh, now then we know there's trouble. So say you might as well take the easy chair.
Easy enough.
Long time no see.
That is. Waiting for it to cool off.
And that'll-
A long time, honey.
Should be in about 14, 15 more weeks,
Yeah.
maybe.
Oh, I was thinking like 4 or 5 more hours.
Well,
It'll cool off a couple degrees.
Yeah, being we never really got spring, it just kind of took that away from us.
All right, call order. Roll call. Ken?
Here.
Doug?
Yes.
Megan?
Yes.
Lauren?
yes.
No Steve?
We'll see.
No,
I'll
Steve.
try and
He's
call
at a
him, but I don't know. Nope.
All right, approval of the agenda.
I move to approve the agenda.
Second.
Motion and a second. Ken?
Yes.
Doug?
Yes.
Megan?
Yes.
Lauren?
Yes.
Motion approved. All right, presentation of the Betterment Award. So we have 2 awards here tonight. The Maxwell Betterment nomination. Says here, George Jones has been a longtime Maxwell citizen and is a devoted community member. Among many other things, he can always be found honoring our veterans during the military gun salute, leading community parades, blessing tables, and busy in the kitchen at the Maxwell Legion and VFW dinners. And has volunteered in community events such as Old Settlers, Food Pantry, and church events. He is always there to help anyone in need and expects no recognition in return. He's a devoted husband, grandfather, veteran of foreign wars, member of the VFW. My favorite place to see him on dinner nights. Farmer and friend. He can always be seen helping a friend, a neighbor, a stranger. It's people like him that make this community the place that I want to live and raise my family. They don't make them like that anymore. He lends a hand and asks for nothing in return. He loves his family, community, country like no one else I know of. And for that, I nominate George Jones. That was Kelly Mearson and Kimberly Birchmeyer for the nominations. George? Oh,
yeah.
yeah. Congratulations, George. Thank you.
Hang on, let me go up the tree.
Here, I want you to keep that as well.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Shake hands
I
again.
don't want to because it was my
Thank you.
Wait a minute.
Okay.
Wait a minute.
You know,
There we go.
you got your glasses
Don't
on.
want you upside down. Make it harder for him
Thank
to
you,
read.
George.
Yep, thanks.
All right, the next community betterment was a nomination of the rodeo committee, Shannon Robertson, for the Betterment Award. Hold a large rodeo every year, as well as barrel racing throughout the year, which helps bring in people from across Iowa and connecting states to our city. They do a good job of upkeep of the rodeo grounds, which helps keep the park looking good. Shannon?
And Roger, I didn't turn that in.
I signed this, Shannon.
I didn't turn that in.
Get up there.
Come on, Roger.
Roger.
Come on, Roger.
And that camera ain't big enough.
That's three. You better back up.
Yeah, I got it. I'm like only on half.
Only on half.
Yeah, that's half. Okay, I'm good.
As long as you get the top half.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate what you guys do there.
There's a barrel race tomorrow night when I come down and watch.
Very good.
Oh, cool.
And
You're on
Friday,
next
Saturday and
Yeah, it should
Sunday.
only be 112, right?
Yeah, will there be fans? You know.
Bring it.
Well, if you show up, it'll be ice water right there.
Great.
Yeah, ice water, yeah. Amen to that.
All right.
We should do concession.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you guys very much. You guys are the epitome of what Maxwell is. It's all about the family and the community and the people that are here. So, all right, moving on. Let's see, citizens forum. The citizens' concerns, questions, complaints.
Anything that's not on the agenda.
I think you're gonna have one.
I don't see it on the agenda.
She didn't put me on the agenda.
Yeah. No, you are.
I don't see anything. Cleanup day, parade permit, road repairs, additional meeting for move the city home, storage unit agreement,
Yeah.
wine trailer. I
Okay.
don't see it, so it's your
I
time.
asked to be put on.
Okay.
We were wondering how we were coming with the permit to have livestock on the old Eatwell place, the old Peterson place.
You know, planning and zoning has met.
So last I heard, they had a meeting set.
Okay.
We needed to be able to get on the agenda for the planning and zoning. That's why I wanted to come tonight to make sure we got on that. Okay.
It's even in city limits.
Well, it is now, I
It is
guess.
It is now.
It was annexed with the Dollar General.
Wow,
long
that's
as
the
Jan
biggest
said
livestock
it
there
acts
ever.
that.
I was gonna say,
Let's slow down.
that's where I'm coming from, is it's been livestock forever out there, and I
Forever.
can't see
I agree
why I
100%
can't
with
have
you guys.
one.
Well,
Tyler
I-
can't have livestock.
I agree. I think
We're
when they
still,
put in Dollar General, they just made everything what is it, commercial? No.
No,
industrial.
industrial.
Oh,
And it circled them in there, so.
what in the
No,
world?
it's been,
That's
it's
where
just,
we're at.
Ken,
What?
it's been industrial for a long time.
It didn't just happen with Dollar General, I don't believe.
No, it was.
I thought it'd
long
been 9
before
years
me.
before Dollar General, and the
So when
reason
did,
they,
where meat, where it's,
Lickinger House been industrial, and the Crossroads been industrial even when I was on council. That was a long time ago.
And what purpose would that have been?
So,
It was the one time
so if it
a lot.
was industrial before, then how did Peterson be allowed to have livestock?
they were approved for goats, right?
Yeah.
Am I thinking that correctly? And they actually weren't approved or permitted to have what they had. So I think council's just trying to get ahead of whatever's the citizens would like to have, should they live there. Deb, do we know where the planning and zoning meeting is scheduled for?
I don't,
Okay.
that's Dee's
you need to,
area.
when you call that and talk to Dee.
Okay.
She's the one in charge of that,
Okay.
and then she'll get you on the schedule. I'll tell you when.
I thought it was just another side of the road, but that's the old bulk plant.
Yeah, I could understand that being part of Maxwell, but
It's been, they got sewer water, city water over there, and it's been, most of that's been in the city for a long time. Most of
Well,
it-
Lauren had to
brought
originally,
in an acre of his land into the city so he could get on city water. And he never wanted any of the buildings in the city,
And now it is.
and now it is.
now they just did this. The buildings were, like I said, they should be grandfathered in.
No,
Yeah.
We're still being taxed as agricultural though.
no.
according to-
Yeah, according to
Once you
BJ.
change property owners, grandfather law goes out the window. You start all over.
Yeah, the original people are the only people grandfathered in,
Yes.
Oh, that's a shame.
not the property. They
I found that out when I bought my place.
You still have horses though, don't you?
They're not mine. I can have two. I have a permit for 2 horses. To the city.
You should be able to have 3. It
Alright.
says 3 of any animal. You should be able to have 3.
No, I can't. It won't hold it. I'm lucky to get one for the grass to hold up.
I was gonna say, it's
So
not very
according to
big.
D, they do not have one scheduled.
So I would call Dee and see that she can schedule.
Okay.
Yeah. That's really sad. If they can get that too.
It's the point that I'm ready to get
I
through.
thought there was a planning and zoning meeting like right after our last meeting, because I know, it was in May, because I couldn't make it.
They
I
had
a
one.
meeting that night.
And then the planning and zoning people wanted to do more research.
Okay,
So then they were supposed to schedule a second meeting on it,
okay.
but I haven't heard. I said that's not my area.
So tomorrow I'll call up here and talk to Dee.
I'll just stop it.
Before 1.
You know that, Tim?
Before
One
one.
to go on, yeah,
Before
between
one.
noon and
Before
one.
one, that's, yeah, that's fine.
Noon and 1, in reality. Yeah, so between noon and 1 tomorrow.
Okay. You guys already remember. Citizens forum?
You can just call City Hall.
City Hall.
Yeah, there you go.
Guess Alex did big.
He'll be here, but he's not going to be on time, so I thought maybe.
Are we, I don't know, dismissed?
Defer citizen forward until Alex gets here.
What's that?
We'll just defer
Okay.
one item on signatures.
You bet, unless you want to stay and listen. Are you sure? It gets really interesting sometimes. Yeah, I mean, it can get really interesting.
Oh, well. Oh, well.
Are your birthday parties gonna have guns?
Well,
Nerf guns?
I don't pass this year yet.
Okay.
That's well required.
I live on Main Street.
Thank you guys.
David ever paid for town for
Thank you,
years.
Penny.
But
I think we
crossed.
Alright.
Yeah.
Yeah. Citizens forum, reserve
Hey, but I still got my name on it.
Yeah, you do.
Oh,
I don't know where we.
I'll know what's happening. I'll remark.
Yeah, look into it. I mean.
What?
You're not doing nothing this year.
What's that story?
Yeah. I'm just curious.
Yeah, oh, you got it, okay.
Trees out, I got ashes. No. Oh.
Sheriff's report that,
They come up the back, you can't really see. And sometimes there is.
service of the town.
And I couldn't get hold of the sheriff, the deputy, so he
He
may show up later.
The town patrol report, the total time, 21 hours, 14 minutes spent.
Stops
in town, patrol, response. Response to calls, total 40 hours spent. May 1st, May 31st.
Okay. I'll note it that they're okay to remove on your place.
Questions on it? On the fire department. Fire report, we had 1 call with 8 people in Indian Creek Township. No maintenance issues, no injuries or accidents, no special events. And they don't think anything can be said right now. Moving on to EMS. EMS had 5 page outs. average certified EMS for calls 1 and 2. They had 2 in Maxwell, 1 in Indian Township, 1 in Washington Township. Looks like they don't have any maintenance needs. They have a note here, the new Tahoe 1063 will be in service by the end of the month. The department to determine where things will go to work best for the department as a whole, and communications with the Stark County Sheriff's Office to switch rigs and identifiers. On to the library. So library for May was 284 books checked out, 111 movies, total of 158 in attendance, 82 children and 76 adults, and a total of 139 bridges, 65 on hold. Peters were 13 adults and 29 children. Current events, the assistant librarian's 90-day review, early out activities ended for the summer, 2 Mommy and Me events, Monday daytime numbers are rising, policy workshop held for board and director. Upcoming events, they have a book sale to begin during garage sale days, 2 Mommy and Me events, June 5th and 19th, Friends of the Library Dance, June 9th, Chakra Walk, June 17th, Bean Class with Miss Ribbon, June 21st, Focus on Strategic Planning, Summer Reading Program in July. Busy library. We'll cover with the board meeting minutes. Anything?
No.
You see, you see they're gonna have some open fill, 2 open fill positions posted in the near future.
2 board, library board members positions to be vacant.
No, they wouldn't be paid positions. They're probably assistants.
Yeah.
Like book filers, that type of thing. Checkers.
Moving on to public works. Streets, most potholes are done. They have a list of streets to repair and a price. How much do we want to spend? Question. Parks, nothing new. Water pumped, 2,177,000 gallons. Sold, 1,496,000 gallons. Had a water main break just north of 5th and Maxwell Street. And flushing hydrants June 5th and 6th. The sewer pumped 4.459 million gallons.
Water main break by you guys?
Right outside.
Right there, the break.
Oh, okay.
Got in the shower, that's it.
Coneheads. I'm like, Brian's tough. Who is that? Coneheads.
Do we know anything more about
South of Lamar.
what's going on? Has anybody looked at that on Baldwin Street, that hole where it started?
Is that the repair?
That'll be Wes to talk about, imagine.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, the repair, did they get that repaired with the rest of the street repairs, or?
No.
No.
Okay, I think they talked about including it maybe in some of that pothole repair on 5th.
So they're just gonna try and fill it with that?
No, I think we talked about doing a partial depth patch repair,
Okay.
which is just, you talk to your patching guy and they should know how to do that. But I can get the information to Tony on that if we need it still.
I think that's something that's going to have to be fixed soon, because I think we're looking at some liability for vehicle
Oh, yeah.
damage. It's getting,
Seems like
It's getting worse.
it's getting deep.
It is.
It's sinking.
It's sinking.
And do we want to look at a potential stopgap of throwing some gravel in the hole, smooth the track, put a sign up as a warning, something along those lines.
All the above.
Okay.
And that's the trench
Yep.
settlement. Did they fill any of the other potholes on Baldwin?
Yeah.
They filled those, just not that trench settlement.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tony filled them.
Tony filled them, yeah. I'll follow up with Tony on share a detail with him so he knows what they should be doing.
Thank you. Any other public works issues, concerns?
Mm-mm.
Had a couple issues that were presented to me, but I'll address those with Tony. So, city clerk.
18 grass sliders.
Tall grass.
All good?
18, really?
Mhm.
Okay.
Are some of them like, are they all individual, like 18 different? Or are you having to repeat some people?
I think there was a couple of repeats, but most of them have been individual.
Some places haven't been mowed at all this year.
Yeah. Well, it was no mow May or whatever. So maybe now that we switched to June, they'll start mowing.
8 inches tall needs mowed.
Reminder about employee reviews. Working on 3 land letter items: soccer field to the school, parcel E to 46 Railway, and a disagreement with the Macomb Doctor Bridge.
Drive.
Macomb Drive. There we go. Save it now. Budget amendment was turned in on May 26th, and then have helped customers fill out the OOR grant application. We've received 1.
So what's up with the Macomb Drive Bridge?
Yeah.
Somehow the county's saying that we never filed it with them. And then now they're saying that the,
The Tinkersley.
the way we described it is wrong. So I've sent it back to the attorneys to see what, and they're checking into it.
It's been like 20 years.
No, not that many.
Not quite that long. I was around when they did that.
I was gonna say,
Well,
they started when I was in.
I just said 20 because I know I've been here 23 and it was open then.
Oh,
Right.
yeah. It's been an issue for 20
it's been a while, but Is something changing with it that brought it to the county's attention, or how did the county decide all of a sudden that, hey, you didn't file that?
There's a feud between Prince's and Tankersley.
That's what I thought. Okay.
Between who?
The people who bought Macomb,
Dave McComb's
Dave
place.
McComb's place, and Tinkersley's.
Oh.
They're right across from each other.
Gravel.
Yep.
Alright. Moving on to engineer.
Right. And I don't believe you have these in your packet.
Thank you.
It's been a crazy week, but there's not much to report on there. There you go.
I printed one
You printed
out.
one out, okay. Pretty quiet month. Nothing's really changed on the Baldwin Street reconstruction. We're still looking to resubmit to the CDBG come July 1st. Is the deadline for that, so that'll be going in this month, or at the end of this month, for the CDBG application. Still working on the environmental study process and the right-of-way acquisition, so that's ongoing. No conclusions on those yet. Water treatment plant study is done, with the exception of the council last time to include some of the flow and load for the wastewater plant to make sure we know the impacts on that. That's still getting put in there, otherwise I'd have it to you. But that's coming. The conclusion. The conclusion is that I'll give you a precursor of it. The pumping to the city is the most cost-effective solution for that, rather than an on-site treatment. It's still not cheap. It's about I think the cost estimate is like $180,000 to pump to the city. Yeah. Real early look at that, so there might be some savings there. We assume some things, but we might be able to neck down in the end. But the good part is it doesn't have to be done until 2027. So there's some years out there before that has to come due. The on-site treatment was on the order of $300,000 or more. So that's so, and that's basically just a pump station on site that pumps out to Maine and up Maine to the manhole at Shorten, Maine, I believe, is right there in the street
And this was not known or noted until recently?
No, yeah, this comes out of the DNR. So the water treatment plant discharges to Rock Creek, the backwash water. After they backwash the filters, it goes right to Rock Creek. DNR has a water supply and a wastewater division. Well, technically that's a wastewater discharge, but it's on a water treatment plant. So the two don't always talk to each other. So when they permitted the water treatment plant, wastewater division wasn't told that, hey, we got a wastewater discharge. We're talking 20, 30 years ago when they put it in originally. DNR's been going through and looking at the records now and go, oh, whoops, here's one we missed. And then, by the way, here you got to do something about this. So it's just something that we've been kind of coasting on.
$1 million we already spent.
Yeah. I mean, I guess we've saved some 20 years of not having to have it in there, but yeah, it's just a surprise it came from the DNR on that side. So you'll be getting that final report soon to get those loads in there, so you have those as you get passed. Woodlawn stormwater study, scope and fee. It's still in the works. My stormwater guys have been swamped, so they haven't been able to finish that one, but that'll be coming to you. Rock Creek Ridge Estates, I've not heard anything from our development side guys on if they're moving yet or not. I think they're still waiting on the zoning change before they pull the trigger on that one. So
We're done with the zoning change.
Zoning change is done.
Zoning change
is it done tonight, or did we wait
Last
here?
month. It's done.
But last month at your special meeting, right?
Right.
So hopefully we're hearing from them something soon, because I'm assuming they've been notified or they're aware of it. Maybe I'll make sure our guys know that they can reach out.
That'd be good, please.
Okay. Okay, we'll do that. And then there was some cemetery survey that Steve had asked for. We're getting a quote for that to you guys, and nothing from Mobile Home Park. They're going to be out of compliance here very soon, but it's not us, that's them. And Dale, for your information, Mobile Home Park north of town reached out to us and said, hey, we've got a compliance from the DNR for their wastewater lagoons. They have to do some upgrades and improvements, possibly, probably. So one of the things where that may bring the city in is one of the options they may want to look at is connecting to the city rather than upgrading their lagoons. So we were just kind of trying to stay on top of that. We sent them a scope and fee to do that work for them, and got crickets for a while, and then reached out again a couple years later. Oh yeah, we need to do something about this. So we sent us an updated scope. Yeah, so we did that, and then crickets again. So until they get the nasty gram for the DNR, I have a feeling it's probably not going to go anywhere. But that's just kind of keep that in the back of your guys' head, that if they were to try and go to the city, then it would be the city's option to what those requirements are, because they're not inside the city limits. So it would be set
Would
the
that
rates.
require a pump station out there?
They would have to pump it. Yeah.
And then if they put a pump station out there, would that help, like if we had Travis's area, that was good?
So that's a good question. There's some options there. If they do it and it's on their dime, it's going to be their pump station and their private force main to dump into the last manhole there at North and Baldwin. The city and some of the concepting that we had helped the city with years ago of the Travis property, there is some option there to maybe open up potential development or developability of that Travis property, which can't be served by gravity sanitary sewer, but could be served by a pump station. If the city wanted to go down that road, there's some options that you could put a public pump station in a position where the lagoons from the trailer park could get to it and they could use it as well as Travis property. That's going to require probably some investment either by the city or by a developer that wants to take it on, which is a tough sell. But that's kind of why we want to just keep it in the back of your mind that when that time comes where they're looking at something, there's going to be some things to discuss and consider at that point. So anything else done? That's all I got.
I would like, I mentioned it last time, and I don't know if the message got to you or not. We have added to Baldwin, we've adjusted this and adjusted 17 different times. Could you put together, if we did this, our cost will be X. If we do this and this, X and Y, kind of give us an update on the expenses, proposed expenses, because the numbers just keep working as well as what is happening. kind of keeps
Yep.
waffling a little.
Well, because what we're looking at is if the water main, if I'm understanding you, if the water main doesn't go, what's our cost? If the water main does go, what's our cost?
Right.
There's also we kind of stood on those costs that we originally prepared first part of last year, end of last year.
At least.
So do you want us to look at updating those costs as well, as far as the current pricing? Because we just kind of rolled on that. I think it'd be useful.
Well, I think, yeah.
Just looking at our expenses and proposed expenses with lift stations and other things, I want to know just if we just knock out a foot of the top and redo it, what would that be? If we go lower and do.
Oh, back to some of the different options then?
Please.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
You would include a gravel road option.
Well, if we just leave it for another 10 years, it will be a gravel road.
That's what I mean. So if we go through and grind it, then we just put the treatment on it.
Being a county road, I don't know if they have any requirements for how it comes into town. I don't
Well, if they want some say in it, we'll have to put some money in the
Yeah.
But if you could revisit all those numbers and different options, I think that would be valuable for us.
Since we're revisiting everything, let's revisit it.
And then how the grants would fit in with various coordinations.
Yep. I'll get Spencer going on that and we'll get some updated cost breakdowns
Thank you.
on the Baldwin. Anything else on my end?
Anything else for you?
All right.
Thanks, Wes.
Thank you. Parks and open spaces. Since looks like we don't have any public hearing, then this would be a time for citizens forum.
Yes.
All right.
Citizens
Come on,
arrest.
citizens.
Okay, Alex Golly, 800 Baldwin Street. 2 questions. One of them I just discovered. Why was the city council meeting moved from 6:30 to 5? For those of us who work, it's very hard to get here. As you can see, I am late. So,
That was gonna be my question. I wasn't gonna be a smart butt about it, but I was gonna say why you late. Because I wanted to know.
last time I checked, it
I
was
wanted to
6:30
know
when
if
I
it
was
was the
on.
5 o'clock meeting.
It was,
Yeah.
back in January, we voted to move the meeting up so that there wasn't a lag time between Deb getting off work for the city and then having to come back for the city council meeting. So we all voted on that in January, but because the fiscal year ends or starts in June, that's when the meetings switched to the new time zone,
Or
or the
was
new
it
time.
because I couldn't come until school was out? I thought.
Oh, was that what it was?
I believe that was the issue.
Oh, maybe, yeah.
Oh, okay, so until
June-
school was
June
out,
1
we
in August,
decided, okay.
5 days, 5 years.
But then it switches?
It switches.
And it goes back to 6:30. 6.
Okay.
6. Say right number.
Second question / concern is it was brought to my attention that there was a council member who, in my opinion, was overstepping a city council member's authority. I know at one time the council questioned reprimanding a previous mayor. What is the council going to do to reprimand a council member who oversteps? Is there anything on the books to reprimand them at all? Is it just a slap on the wrist?
I believe it's the same recommendation. I think we can do the same thing. Are you talking about the
About writing tickets?
school parking?
Yeah, that's not a council responsibility.
As far as I understand, this council's direction. The mayor is outside of holding
For-
any council members in
Accountable.
any form of accountable.
Okay.
They are only held to the public, so the mayor has no responsibility for what the council does.
Okay.
Understands.
I know the night that the mayor was asked to be reprimanded, or, council was asked to be reprimanded, mayor, there was no
action taken.
No action.
No,
No
just
action.
continue a motion.
But we did lose our mayor because of
Yeah, which I understand there's no action taken. And I mean, from my understanding, obviously I wasn't here. the thing that was requested that he be reprimanded for, when I was on the council, the previous mayor had done several times. And so now you have a council member stepping out of their responsibility, writing tickets. And as a a citizen, that to me does not sit right.
I think the council rectified that situation as well by returning those tickets, ticket fees, because of working outside of the council members' duties.
The tickets were waived, if you didn't know that.
So the tickets were waived, but was anything done to city
Tickets were
council?
waived, and I think maybe he might have got the sense of it was wrong.
Okay.
And so.
He did. Yeah, he
Right.
went to the
I
bank
think,
and
I think they got the
apologized.
sense it was wrong. I don't think you've really, don't do it again. It's kind of what he was told.
Okay.
And so I don't think it will happen again.
Well, as you guys know, in a small town, a lot of times you only hear one side.
Absolutely.
Instead of
Absolutely.
getting information
Yeah.
through the grapevine, it's best to come in and just.
No, and at that next meeting, we went over the ordinance again that goes through who has the right to write a ticket, which is nobody but the mayor or the mayor pro tem. As,
Tony.
Tony, and Tony.
Not Mayor Pro Tem.
Okay, and then we also discussed with the school, because Chad was here, and Chad Grandin was here at the time, that we do want to work with him. We want to work with the school. We are not trying to have a bad repertoire with them in any way, shape, or form. We all want to keep the lines of communication open, so.
Good deal. One more question.
Yeah.
Baldwin, I know there was a project planned. I think there's been a project planned for quite a while. And then it fell through. Is that, I'm just curious on the information. Where are we with that? What's going on with that?
And so we just asked Wes to revisit that topic and
Different.
put
Options.
together the different options
Mhm.
and possibilities.
Grant.
We didn't
get a
receive this
$300,000
CDBG
grant?
Which was a
which
quarter
is
of
a
the
big
Oh, okay.
portion of the
We
money.
completely lost it, so now we're back to not necessarily back to the drawing board, because we know our options. We just have to revisit those options, but it's not
Decide what
gonna
we
be
can
the
afford.
big project
And-
it was before.
And reapply for the grant, which is July 1st. We can reapply for that same grant and try and get it again.
I'm trying to get that.
But yeah, the sinkhole right now, we're
Sinkhole.
trying to
I
get
call it the sinkhole,
patched in.
Yeah.
patched in somehow.
If we could move that just a house north to slow everybody coming into town.
Right at, or a few houses, just
Yeah.
right at the,
We'll see if
right
we
at
can
the
cut
city
a
limit.
patch
There you
out
go.
on the north, and then bring that patch back over, all right?
That'd be okay
Reverse,
with that.
reverse speed bump.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. You'd be surprised how many people come to almost a dead stop.
Yep.
To get through that.
Mhm.
And that's gonna be our next problem. If we get it too smooth, they're gonna be
It's
coming
gonna
through
fly.
at interstate speeds
Well, the traffic is rerouted.
through the cemetery.
Traffic's going north up to the cemetery on North Street, so.
Yeah.
We're enhancing traffic travel on our back roads, which
Right.
do not support.
No, that's not good either.
Correct.
Perfect.
A lot of people need to.
Or,
Mhm.
county could,
Mhm.
best one, so.
You're asking the wrong
Put a
person.
bump sign there at least. with it.
All right. Well, thank you guys for all the information. And
Thanks, Alex.
Thanks, Alex.
Thanks for stopping
have fun. Hopefully the meeting doesn't go too long.
in.
Yeah.
I moved it to 5.
See you later, Wes.
All right.
See you, Deb.
We'll close the citizens forum, seeing if there's nobody else here. Skipping the public hearing as moving on to business. So discussion and action on authorizing the mayor to sign the animal rescue service contract.
Steve, I have a question. What was that?
Two questions.
Okay.
So first one. First one is by Steve. He's written the contract. When a dog is aggressive or bites someone, the mayor is supposed to get the report of the incident. Does not seem to be a role under the scope of service in this contract for the animal control officer to make such a report, nor to be involved with any such complaint. What is our expectation under the contract for such situations? Do we need an amendment? How do we communicate our expectations to the public and to the staff so they can act appropriately? So what I've seen in the contract is that they're going to investigate as well as deal with any of the control issues, but it's at their discretion. But I don't know, maybe I'm reading too far into the contract. Anybody else getting that out of it?
Well, the bold on the front page, non-emergency after hours is at their discretion. I'm thinking that during hours, they are obligated to handle just like a police call would be. At least that's my thought.
Does it cover them when they say any other animal control related problem may be dealt with at the animal control offices? I mean, does that cover them to say, hey, we want to report on that? Which they should give us.
But I think the mayor is the acting party on any complaints originally. I believe that was the point Steve was trying to make. Maybe the mayor decides, yes, this animal needs to leave, then the owner can appeal it. We had that happen a few months back. Can appeal the mayor's decision to the council. I think the initial action comes from the mayor, which is, I think, what Steve's saying. Why are they in Nevada writing a report? And it should come our direction, and maybe we don't have that in the language clearly enough.
So right now, the language discusses that the mayor's responsibility is to act upon the reception of the investigative report. So if there's a situation ongoing at the moment, we're waiting to hear back from the sheriff's office before we make a decision, and that's where and then my decision then is able to be overturned.
Appealed, potentially, yeah.
That's what's in place now.
That's what's in place now.
Okay.
So I think the one piece of this thing is missing is that, as Steve was alluding to, is that it just needs to provide a report for the situation that they respond to. That's just a request that we need to ask here. We need a report based on any bite or nuisance animal situation that the city has to take or could have to take action on. So we can ask for that amendment. I think that probably covers what Steve was asking you concerned about.
Yeah, so under number 9, we can ask for
And
file an amendment.
I'll make a motion to authorize the mayor to sign the animal rescue service contract contingent upon the requested amendment stated by Dale.
Second.
Discussion.
Yeah, you want to tell me what that motion was?
You want that one more time?
That's why I didn't repeat it. Sorry.
Or do you want to email it to me?
I'm gonna jot it down here before I forget myself.
Either that or I'm gonna have to go back through the.
Do we want to put a time restriction on that? Do we want to require that they provide a full complete report within 72 hours? Because if we tell them that they can provide a report,
Right, it could be
Wait
2
6
months
months.
from now.
Yeah.
Then we had an incident back here, and mayor waited for quite a while to get that report. You're right. That's a good idea.
I'd say 72.
72.
72 hours.
Max.
And then they come back with a 1 day or whatever. We may need more time than that. Which is, but I think we have
At least an initial contact.
a starting point on an amendment. So, okay. Any other discussion on that amendment? Lauren,
Yes.
Doug,
Yes.
Ken,
Yep.
Megan.
Yes.
Related topic, but not to the motion at all. We've got the third page in, the different fee structures that they charge us. If the owner is known and the dog is, or cat or whatever it is returned, do we, any charges that we get, do we bill those on to the owner or the person that was running, had to be an animal?
I don't think we do that right now.
Should we
Should the responsible party
be responsible for the costs?
the costs associated with the quarantine and the charge of the investigator coming out?
That might deter some of the things going on and a little more accountability on the owner of the animal.
There is a fee structure in here listed for pretty much every possible scenario.
Right.
So
I think we need
we
to
should
see
look
if
at our ordinance and then
it's an ordinance change, yes.
ordinance change of adding these prices go to the owner if it's
Passed on through
passed
to,
on to the owner.
the trouble is, I don't own that cat. He lives in my house, but I don't own that cat.
Right.
Well, if they're at your house, it's your cat.
Yeah.
Or dog or hyena. Anyway, I think that would be something we need to address and look at.
So that was the other question that I had, that Doug had said, so I don't know I have this.
So we need to look at that ordinance.
So Deb, in your spare time, can we see what other cities do? I'm guessing it's probably.
No, I am going to be busy for the next month.
I know that, so by October.
By October.
Maybe after October when I'm back here.
And I'll try and look through some city ordinances too, and see if I can find something.
Alright. So if there's no other concerns on that, we'll move on to discussion to cleanup day.
It's coming Saturday, right?
Saturday morning.
It's Saturday morning. Who's going to be there to help? Who's going to help take the money? Who's going to?
I can take money again. Done the last 2 years.
Steve?
I'm not gonna be here. Sorry.
And you can't phone in for this either.
No,
Brenda and I
I've already
will
planned
have
things.
things for it, so we'll be there afterwards to help, but we'll be like the first ones there. So
maybe I can find a family volunteer to take my
I'd like to see David there. That'd be good.
Send
I should
little
be there.
boys.
Deb, what do you need me to do? And what time do I need to be there?
So we're gonna have our dumpsters again. Tony gets those lined up.
We've got them lined up. They're supposed to be there Saturday morning.
It's early. What time do we start?
8 to 11.
8 to 11.
8 to 11.
But people are always there at 7.
Yep.
We should be there with the
We're
loader
doing
and stuff.
appliances.
We charge for
Appliances.
Deb and Dee.
appliances and for people that have a Maxwell address but don't live in town, right?
Yeah.
And it's 20?
20.
Can't remember.
20.
Okay. It's, yeah. Okay. So 20 for appliances, 20 for outside of town.
No microwaves.
Microwaves
tires.
can go into the dumpster, the
Microwaves
appliance
can.
dumpster.
TVs can't.
Okay, the other TVs were no.
TV and monitors are no.
Okay. And tires.
Tires,
And tires and paint.
wet paint, but dry paint and count.
Yeah, if you got dry paint, it's fine.
Dry paint's okay, wet paint's not. We need
So
to,
Dale, you just show up down there and they'll put you to work.
Alright,
They're supposed to unload themselves, but
Last year we had that safe. which really got us all excited until we opened it.
Oh,
There
until
was
we
nothing
opened
in
it.
it.
Oh, yeah, that was,
Not a thing. That was like a half an hour of fun there.
it was. Bahama trips
Drop off our
planned.
loads,
That's right.
and then Brett and I will be there, so might be local.
All right. Any further discussion on the cleanup day? Moving on to discussion and action on the parade permit. Looks like we have, is that the DOT closing primary road extension?
Yes. Because we closed down the Highway 210, so we have to have DOT permission.
Okay, so it's Highway 210 from 40 Main Street to 500 Main Street from 10 a.m. August 5th. The ending is 11:30 a.m. August 5th, 2023. Parade route for Old Settlers, Broad Street to Metcalf Street to 5th Street.
Normal routine. Move we approve it.
Second.
All right. Megan?
Yes.
Doug?
Yep.
Lauren?
Yes.
Ken?
Yep.
Motion passes. Moving on to discussion and action on the road repair quotes. Looks like we have a proposal. Kyle Peeling Company.
Deb, I forgot to ask you, how much did we budget? Do you happen to have that number?
About 21,000.
21? That's what I didn't think it was nearly this much.
But if we don't do Baldwin, we can always use 55,000 of it.
How often do we do this?
Yearly thing, but different streets every year.
Different streets every year. Has it gone up since last year, you think?
Well,
Sure.
just
The
like
budget
everything
from
else.
21 to,
No, we spent like 38,000 last year, but we were over budget.
But we weren't
Right.
supposed to spend that much.
Yeah, we were only supposed to spend about 21,000.
well,
Well, I've looked at some of the streets, and I don't know who's on the street committee here, but looking at Douglas, which is the one right north of the school, which
Yeah.
is our only one-way street in town.
Yes.
It has 3 layers of asphalt on it now,
Mm-hmm.
which has elevated that part 2.5 inches or something. Would chip and seal, and maybe this is a question for Wes, would chip and seal even hold on top of asphalt? Is that the standard remedy?
Not typically that I'm aware of. I'll caveat, I'm not a road guy,
Right?
but I can certainly ask for sure. But what I do understand of roads, I think chip and seal, if it's on a hard base already, it's a granular material that has a binder agent added to it. So if the granular material is added to a hard paved surface, I don't think it's going to stay
That's what I
there
kind of wondered.
well. Now, if the existing paved surface is so raveled that it's pretty much a granular surface, then it might be something that would be adequate. But it would need to be a pretty rough surface, otherwise it's going to be
But
like
it's
ball.
pretty
It's
smooth.
going to be ball bearings type that'll roll
Right.
off as you drive down. The
That
binder
was one
doesn't
street, one
hold
street
it necessarily. So I can ask to see if someone's tried it before.
But we don't want to be innovators.
Well, not unless it's been tried before. Yeah.
And we have a lot of trucks in town too with the school project. That's been hard on a lot of those streets. You know, some of them
From the
are
bridge, trolley, intersection.
north side of the park.
And then the next page, bridge, trotter through intersection.
But it's narrower width. There's another spot that did that. The one right above it, 3rd Main to Maxwell, part of it's 30 feet wide, part of it's 25 feet wide. This is 32 and 24. I questioned that too until I
Yeah.
looked harder. Different widths of the street means different square footage.
Well, I think that one
I
section
probably
of
make a
Parkway.
lot of enemies at my neighbors, but besides the pothole, I really don't like North Street.
North Street's one.
I mean, it's not that bad. Besides, we have one giant pothole.
And
But,
that's
I
a-
mean, once it gets filled, I really don't see North Street as a you know, got to be done this year thing.
Do we have two council people that are on streets, Deb?
Of course.
You know who the two are?
Of course.
No, because I'm Parks and I'm Betterment.
Oh,
Unless, is streets part of Parks?
Let me look.
I don't know. It might be.
Or Parks and Betterment.
I am Parks and Betterment. I just don't know if that's part of Parks, maybe.
name always comes up.
It is. You and Lauren.
It is, okay, so it is, it's parks, open spaces, streets and trails.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
I mean,
So why are you?
Well, I'm wondering if whoever the committee, I wasn't sure it wasn't me, so I wasn't pointed at anybody, but do we need to go around and look at some of these? If you say North Street isn't that bad, and we think
Don't say
maybe,
it so loud, because I don't want all my neighbors like at my house tonight.
well,
I'm just saying, I mean, like I said, we do have a huge pothole, but if Tony's filling potholes, once that's filled, I just think if there are other streets that are worse off
we'll
than ours,
prioritize,
we
yeah.
don't need to necessarily have ours done.
And Tony actually said something about Second Street not really needing it.
Second Street not needing it.
He could probably take that one on. And that's one of the more expensive.
the worst part of Second Street's down there by the soccer fields. On the right street, yeah.
Why? Where? I don't have that every day.
All the
What's
trucks were
that?
going around the corner there hauling stuff
Oh.
back and forth where they, kind of,
Are you talking about Third Street?
That's the
is
street.
that
Guys,
third? Wrong
okay, I'm
street.
like, wait,
I'm on Third, sorry.
I know Second Street.
Oh.
Okay, okay,
I'm on Third.
okay. That one probably, yes.
If the Third Street's right next to the football field.
Yes. And
Second
then
is-
fourth is on the other side of the football field.
Yeah.
Second
No, I'm
is
on- I'm
down
on-
by the soccer field.
I'm on the soccer field, that spot there, right where the shot and disc is. There's a rough patch in there. So that is second.
Okay,
Third, right there across from the apartments on the north, where they had that gate going into the football field from the south.
yes.
They really, on the cornering there,
Mhm.
that has a bad spot, but I don't know if we need to do 3 blocks of it.
And yeah, I'm thinking first by the soccer field. I forget about that other little
The
street.
north
It's
side,
so
okay.
dark on that street. I refuse to go up it in the mornings.
Yeah.
There's no street lights until you get to,
But my suggestion was maybe we need to look at this. The trouble is they want this back by, what did we say, June 21st or something?
Control will only be withdrawn if not accepted within 30 days.
Oh, so we have 30 days,
What's the date that it was?
but it was dated for 5/12.
so 6/12 is 30 days.
Oh, that's next week. Oh, yeah.
so, yes, I would probably agree that we should drive around and look and make sure, but I'm also on the side of, we're already on the receiving end of bad with Baldwin, that I don't really want to go stingy with the streets, but if there's a street where we can maybe cut costs, because this is a little higher, maybe we should just choose which ones need that. I don't know.
Well, what about, I'm no road expert
I'm not
either.
either.
So I say,
driving around.
I'm
choosing-
thinking, maybe we should like get Tony. Maybe we could road trip with Tony
All right,
around
the back of
town
the truck.
because, yeah,
Nothing wrong with that. You
I
guys
don't feel like I'm the road expert.
No.
Look at
grab
this
Tony and go for a ride and
Yeah.
discuss the
You
specific
good?
ones.
Trying to put that up?
So, Second Street,
Okay.
Bridge to Trotter.
Or side of the park.
So that's right.
Right down here.
Yeah,
Bridge,
opposite side of it.
okay, Bridge to Trotter. Okay. Through that section. Okay.
So that one alone, from the bridge to Trotter, is half of the budget for the year.
Yeah.
That one's $10,000.
Yeah, that's 10 of it.
Okay, but then we're stopping and starting at Maxwell to Metcalf. And then Metcalf to Ashford. So they're not gonna do this small section from Main Street to Maxwell?
That would may have been a year ago. 2
Okay.
years ago.
That seems odd.
had this at our May 22nd meeting.
Right,
Yeah. We have
yeah.
very well timed.
Mhm. Okay, well, we'll get on it. And then what, do we call a special meeting?
So for me, the idea behind this is gonna be fiscal 24, right? So this will come out of fiscal 24 budget. So I mean, we could blow the entire budget, one fail smooth, and be looking at how we're going to recoup those losses somewhere else throughout the year, because it is early in the year. You know, July is the start, so we have to, we can look at where can we cut somewhere else to still maintain budget.
But last year they came in June, didn't they, Deb? Did we still delay the bill till August or July? They were here early last year.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Just last year's, yeah, they held the bill.
So, okay, so we would be in 24, that
Yeah,
you want
so
to confirm that?
you're basically you're behind on it.
Yeah.
I will text Tony and try to get a little scoop.
So is
scoop
it-
to do.
It's,
Yeah.
you two are on the
Mhm.
Right?
That's what I'm saying.
What now? What's your actual plan
I'm
was
going to
now?
give you guys permission to do whatever you want to here.
Okay.
Before Tony, before the 30 days is up. So you
Okay.
get 1 week,
Next week.
Yeah,
less than a week.
So maybe Saturday after cleanup,
That
I'll
might
take
work.
the city truck and go for a ride. And
I think before. I don't wanna leave it that late. Yeah, that's only like 2
I'm
days
not
for
gonna
us.
lie, I'm going to rely on Tony's guidance heavily.
Yeah.
Heavily.
Yeah.
But, I'll text him, try to get a time, it can be after work or something.
Tony drives the streets more than any of us. So.
That's true,
Yep.
and he probably already knows what needs to be done anyway.
Yep.
Okay, yep. So what's the action needs to be, oh boy,
We're gonna have to decide on
So motion to approve
Action to cut 21,000.
the
with.
action needs to be approved contingent upon Megan, Tony, and Lauren's scoop the loop
review,
pre-review,
street review.
and it could change heavily.
With a target in the 20s instead of the 40s.
We'll try our hardest.
I'll make that motion.
Deb, did you get that?
I think so.
Based
Okay.
on their assessment.
Further discussion on
No.
that? Very good. Doug,
Yes.
Lauren,
Yes.
Megan,
Yes.
Yeah.
motion passes.
Thank you, ladies.
You might take that back.
All right, discussion and action on setting additional meeting to assist with the move of City Hall. So, June 12th, I'll take this one, because this is my agenda item. June 12th is the start date for here.
June 12th?
Yes.
The 15th.
12th or the 15th?
15.
Okay.
Okay.
So, all of this has to go.
Where's it going?
Fire station.
Fire station.
Everything in here is going to the fire station.
Except for what we get rid of this weekend.
Oh.
Right.
Is there things in here that need to be gone through and tossed out?
Yes.
Okay.
So, the idea is that this isn't a job that the city clerk can do, or Tony can do. This is a job we all kind of got to chip in. So, what I wanted to find is a time that everybody can come together and come in, help haul file cabinets, roll them out to next door, get her set up with a computer so she can start the next day or on Monday. You know, if we come in and do it on a Saturday, clean up on whatever is left on a Sunday, you know, however we can work it out, but we don't have a lot of time to do
Okay.
The target's the 15th or the 12th?
it. The 15th.
15th.
And that is because of the contract for the renovations that was signed.
Mhm.
Well, I have been looking for the football coach because I know the boys are having practices. If we could corral about a dozen of those guys, and I'm sure coach would help us come in and show their strength.
That'll be awesome.
Additional resources are
I'm
always
on
valued.
vacation.
Sonia Stout is also in charge, the one in charge of the silver board. I would contact her.
I'll get
I
some-
would-
Board,
yeah.
football.
She does the spirit thing.
Yep, I would get a hold of her
I'll
and
text
see
her.
if she
I
can
have
round up
football.
people.
Good thought.
So we will still need
So when are we looking?
Still need to set a date because 15th is the start date, which is a Thursday. So we're still probably looking at next weekend, well, this weekend, right?
We only have one weekend.
Well, and the
And you
10th
guys are
will be
busy.
busy,
And
so
the 10th morning is occupied.
And
11th morning is obviously occupied.
it's, yeah, 11th is out. Can we do next week
So
after work? Or maybe a couple nights? 2-3 nights? I don't know.
I can tell you my schedule is not great on Monday and Tuesday, the 12th and 13th. I have a facility audit.
How are you this Wednesday? I could probably get some people rounded up for Wednesday.
This Wednesday,
Yeah,
we have about,
okay.
and then the following Wednesday after that as well.
Okay.
Wednesday.
I was gonna say, we might just have to split up and, who can do what nights. I'm pretty much free any night.
I can't this Wednesday. I've got
if
church.
you can do it this Wednesday, I can help
Okay,
this Wednesday.
let's get as many people as we can, and I'll try and get a hold of some boys.
And I'll
I can help
shoot
this
Sonny.
Wednesday, I won't be able to help the next.
I'll try and get Tyler, Owen, for sure. I can probably round up some more too.
We also need to probably talk to the fire station and make sure that they have room for us.
Start
Cleaned up
lights.
or whatever.
I already did.
That's
Thank
already
you.
on.
I know the fire chief.
Good job, Deb, being on top of it.
I know they have 2 offices in there, and they're using both of those.
Yeah, one's fire, one's,
One on the north
One's fire,
side.
one's EMS.
Tony figured we'd be set up on tables.
Okay.
My problem is just as long as I'm set up by the 14th. Because people get mad when I don't pay them.
Does the city have refrigerator movers?
Refrigerator? I don't know.
Appliance,
Because these file cabinets are basically refrigerated.
yeah. We have one appliance mover.
Are they fire safe?
Probably. I know that one is.
I was gonna say that one probably is, but these aren't, these are just regular.
Yeah, those are just regular.
Yeah.
This one.
That one, I don't know how we're gonna move anyway.
That one comes apart.
Oh, thank God.
I've moved it before.
Alright, so Wednesday the 7th?
What time?
5:36.
At night? Okay.
Seven.
7. Follow up on the 14th.
Mhm.
Yeah.
At 6:30, so far?
5:30, yeah, 5:30.
I'm sorry.
5:36 on the first one. Second one we can do later if we need to.
The second one will be the one that has to be a lot clearer.
Yep. So we'll say 5:36 for the Wednesday the 14th. And then if anybody's available Saturday after, clean up, come up and go through whatever.
Now, do you need Tony and I available?
I'm sorry?
Tony, do you want Tony and I available?
Yes, we need direction.
All this has to go over there.
Oh,
Okay.
I got that, but do you wanna be able to find it?
Just stand and point that way, guys. That way.
That's all I need, is I need to say, I need this close, I need this, can go further away.
Yeah.
And this needs to go by.
Okay. We might be able to. Dean has already been talking.
Okay, so we set Wednesday the 7th, Wednesday the 14th. Around
I'm
5:30.
texting Sonia and see what she says.
So, because we would all be together on those 2 days, they also become public meetings.
Mm.
So, any of the public that wants to join, feel free. Public hearing / carrying boxes.
That would
Since we're
actually
not
be great.
discussing city stuff, though, would we have to declare it a meeting?
What I can do is make a statement stating that you guys will be together, no public discussion. But
But the
that
same thing this Saturday officially.
But
Correct.
that would cover
Yeah.
us.
Right.
That
I
would
could
cover
do
us
that
then.
too.
But we can put those notices up.
Good
this
idea.
week, so, over tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We declared
It'll
the
have to
meeting
cover
and
for
then you have to
Wednesday,
pass.
Saturday, and Saturdays, so,
Yeah, so we need to not declare the meeting.
Wednesday, Saturday.
So
Motion?
make a motion that we set Wednesday the 7th, 14th, 5:30 for help. And Deb's going to make a statement so that it won't be considered a meeting.
Yep.
Right?
Correct.
Is that it?
Yes.
I'll second that.
Further discussion? Doug,
Yes.
Ken,
Yes.
Megan,
Yes.
Laura,
Yes.
thank you guys. Alright, discussion action on storage unit agreement.
What's down there?
Yeah, what do we have down there? We spend $800 a year keeping.
Well, what do we have down there that we can get rid of to make room for stuff that needs to stay here but not be over there?
Temporary, yeah.
Temporary.
Do we know what's down there?
Records and records?
No, because Tony won't take any records down there. There's the Christmas lights. Appliances are in there for the shelter. In the winter, he also stores the lawnmowers so that they're not in the way of the trucks when they're working on them.
So utilized.
Tony would have a better idea of what's going in there.
It's gotta be another option.
There
Well,
should be a 40-foot container parked next to Tony's building.
Second.
That's
Out of
it. We discussed it
Or
at
out
one
there
time.
this park.
We discussed getting a container, a shipping container at
That
one
was
time.
cheaper than
keep the
storage
stuff for this.
Yes.
Really?
$3,500, pays for
Yeah.
itself in 3 years.
Maybe we don't need a 30-foot, 40-foot, maybe we can get by with a 20-foot, so.
Well, it'd be nice if we had a 40-footer because then we could divide it and she could have a records room in one that we kept, at a temperature and then use the other half for just storage stuff, and it would be right here.
I think that was the problem, is we couldn't park it here.
Yeah, then it would
Put
be
it out the
right
water
there.
plant Or at the lagoon somewhere? Is that
Or
not
even down at the
acceptable?
city shed.
City shed.
City
Oh,
shed.
Lagoon's usable space, there's plenty of
Yeah.
space up there. No space.
I was gonna say, or the water
The
treatment.
water treatment plant.
Yeah.
There's also garage space there,
Mhm.
office space out of the water treatment
I
plant.
know there's
Used to
storage
store
at the water tower, but I think it's used.
Well, the sewer
You gotta be
treatment
careful
has
what you put in there
temperature
because it does overflow once in a while.
Oh, does it? Do you wonder why? Well, I mean, do we need to discuss actually going through with the container then and not going through with this? What are our thoughts on that?
Does this have to be a 1 year, or can we quit after 2 months, if it takes that long to get a container.
I know the market does month to month. Like I pay monthly, so is that an option? That might help us.
I don't know, never done that.
So this invoice
Rent shall be
was
$70 per month, payable in advance. Let's see, terminate.
Automatically renewed for periods of 1 year. Oh, for periods of 1 month,
1
Yeah,
month,
it's,
1 month, so we could go month to month.
which you should be able to. On that, yeah.
With
Maybe-
30 days notice to terminate.
so maybe we just, make a motion to approve this contingent upon Deb getting a month-to-month payment, because this is a month contract. So month-to-month payment, and then we reach out to the container, do our research there, and make a decision.
So that was a motion.
It was.
It was a motion by Lauren.
I'll second it.
further discussion.
I had no idea about the container thing. That's cool.
I don't remember that. Oh,
That was right before you got on.
it was.
Yeah,
I just now realized that.
discussion would be that this invoice on the back side, just don't pay the 840, just pay the $70.
Just pay the 70, and it must be bigger than, yeah, it must be a bigger one than the ones on the north side, probably.
Well, 70 is for a year,
Yeah.
charging us for a whole year, but you don't want to do
Or would
that.
it be safe to pay 3 months? Would it be
I say
that
we
long?
just pay month to
One
month.
at a time?
Yeah.
Okay, that's more check for Deb.
Hopefully
Okay.
we can, I know, but hopefully we can.
Yeah, but
Get
see,
this
this
figured
invoice
out
is
in two.
April 1. Has this been paid yet?
I just got it Friday.
So actually, you'll do
For 1 month, okay.
May,
Time to vote?
April, and May. You'll pay April and May.
Yeah,
Pay
this is
June,
about April
so
and
she
May.
can pay June 10.
And actually, June is due June 1. So you're gonna end up paying 3 months anyway.
But we've already,
Catch
we had it.
Catch it up and pay monthly.
Yeah.
All right. Ken?
Yeah.
Doug?
Yep.
Megan?
Yes.
Lauren?
Yes.
All right. Discussion and action on Winston Wine Trailer liquor license.
So I have a short version of what is going on. For whatever reason, the state has decided to give grief to mobile alcohol units this year. There's never been an issue before, ever, actually, and the Iowa ABD has come back and said, nope, we're not going to give you the long-term permanent license like she's always had. She now has to apply for temporary ones, week to week, month to month, event to event. And it's really, really hard on these small businesses because they've already paid for that long-term permanent license. They haven't been refunded for that. The governor is now involved. So hopefully the Iowa ABD can get their act together and go forward with how it's always been. But for now, the past markets in May, Nikki has had to do pre-order sales, which is inside the license that we approved in April. I can't remember when. But in order for her to actually be considered an open bar and have sales, of me just walking up and going, I want this wine, she's got to go through with the week-to-week license, which is extremely difficult. So nothing inside of her license has changed, except it's no longer a long-term permanent contract or license. It's now considered a temporary. So nothing has changed, just going from long-term permanent to temporary. And I didn't know how you guys wanted to handle this because we've already approved her for the long term. So technically she's already approved and she's gonna have to keep submitting these
But the
temporary.
state came in, or the AD,
Iowa ABD.
yeah, came in and said, no, those aren't appropriate. So I think we do need to keep up with the week to week
Okay.
and improve them going forward.
About months.
It will be
Well,
difficult. We're lucky right now because there's a meeting before this weekend's market, but the market on the 25th, it's gonna be, so I don't know if we just, let's do month to month or.
Which I don't see that one. I see, we have the,
Otherwise, we'd have to schedule a special meeting for a fall license.
Can we approve those weeks now?
I think so.
That's my request, but
Yeah.
obviously up to you guys.
but without having it, you want to approve it without having the second one? Because all we have here is June 11th through the 15th
And she can't apply for that second one until
after this one.
First.
that's why they're called temporary. And I don't know how to handle that because it's gonna be tough. And it can get to Deb's desk and just be the same thing each and every time, and we approve it month to month, contingent upon it being the same. I don't know.
I think the council has the ability to have a standing order that upon receipt of a approved alcohol beverage measure, that we can have an approval based off of that.
Yeah, if she has it said next week after this one. And it looks the same.
It's identical,
Dates
then
are- The dates are just for the next.
Yeah, it'll be
Market, then-
a week to week type thing, yeah.
Yeah, I wonder what got into them guys, but
It's all over the state. It was on KCCI, it was on everything. Makes it really difficult. But
I think they're trying to crack down on some of these that are doing it at places and it's getting into the wrong hands. I'm not saying anything at the market's going wrong, but I think there are other events that are having problems. They're having issues with controlling their market, their, who they're
event.
selling to,
Their
their event. Yes.
I can make a motion, but
You did
Then
make a motion?
well, I can redo it, but then we can discuss if anybody has. I'll make the motion that the Whimsical Wine Trailers licenses are approved monthly, contingent upon second temporary license of the month hit Deb's desk the same exact way that it did the first one as a temporary license for Maxwell's Market Department.
I'll second that.
Further discussion on that? Very good. Vote. Megan?
Yes.
Kid?
yes.
Doug?
Yes.
Lauren?
Yes.
Motion passes. Council mayor reports. Steve's not here. Megan?
Every week we get, or every month at our meetings, we get reports from our different departments, fire, EMS, library. For a long time, I was very hard on the library because I feel like these reports help us support when they bring us their budgets at budget time. The library's been doing an outstanding job. And actually, the parks and open spaces, we have not seen a report now from them at all this year. I know they have met because I'm on that committee, or I'm the council liaison to that committee. I know they're doing things. There's really no reason for it. I have mentioned it to them last year that we needed to see reports just like any other department. I feel like we gave them more money this year, or for the 23-24 budget. Not what they asked, but we did raise theirs somewhat, and I feel like we're still not getting that justification from them on
Feedback, yeah.
their feedback. I feel like it wouldn't even, they just need to make some kind of note, some kind of report. Just like any other department for the city. Like I said, I have made mention of it to them, and I have not obviously gotten anything. So I don't know if another council member would like to speak with them or how we should go about this, but I just feel that if we're going to continue to fund their budget, then they need to do just as any other department does. Other than that, I don't have anything.
I can play babysitter like I do every other department.
But you shouldn't have to. I agree. You could. I just don't feel that that is your job. You should not have that in your job description to go chasing after reports month to month. You have enough to do for the city.
I see when you said we didn't have an EMS report, I reached out to, and two of them was, yeah, well, ready, so.
Right.
Is that president responsibility or just anybody?
I mean, typically it's the president or the chief as far as EMS and fire go. But I don't care if they have a secretary. You know, there's a president. I don't know if they have a treasurer or not. I don't think they do. I think they just have a president. And maybe that's the thing. Maybe they need to, you know, come up with officers and duties and, you know, spread that if the president is too
It's
busy.
considered a board, they should have positions. I would-
It's true.
Besides the last meeting, have you reached out to Jody or anybody?
Not since the last meeting, Nope. Nope, I think I brought it up, like I said, several times last year throughout, and then I brought it up at our first meeting. The only meeting that I know of that we've had that so far this year. So,
I think all of our committees need to get reports into Deb by the end of the day, Thursday for the next Monday's meeting.
absolutely.
I think that would be a priority for all people to do. Doesn't take any longer to do it Thursday than it did to do it Sunday night.
Mhm.
So I would hope everybody would respect each other enough to get that done in a timely fashion. So when Deb prints things, she does it once. And I'm as guilty as anybody saying, hey, Deb, will you do this yet? But yes, I think that would be a target.
Other council members who will oversee the park and open spaces.
Lauren.
I just wrote down, happy to email Jody, so I'm happy to do that.
I do have one other thing too. I forgot about. I had questions, not necessarily complaints. They were not positive questions, but I had questions upon the containers on Main Street and why we chose to go with very fake looking
Flowers?
I wouldn't even call them flowers. They're like fake bushes in the. But yes,
Well-
What are they called? Taupe something?
topiaries.
I think
Topiaries.
Tara and Kathy, I think, did that out of their own pocket to
Okay.
make things look nice.
Okay.
I think it's because the real ones were difficult to take care of. I think
They
we
are.
all took turns watering, but it was just difficult. So I think Kathy and Tara paid
Well,
for all
I think what the problem went to is when we decided that the businesses adjacent with those containers would take care of them.
Right.
We had always had one person that was taking care of them prior to that, and they did an excellent job. And when the businesses took over, some of the businesses did a great job. Others were kind of like, yeah, I don't have time for that. And so, yeah, they didn't look great. But I guess I didn't even know when this person came to me, I didn't even know for sure who's in charge of them. Is that Mark?
Nobody really is.
Okay, okay, yeah, I just didn't even know who to
Nobody
direct them
wanted-
to. I felt like maybe it should be a parks and open spaces thing. That, I mean, it kind of makes sense. It's green space, but I don't know. if it's Mark's, I don't want to step on their toes either. So
Nobody wanted the responsibility, flat out. We've had that conversation in the Parks and Open Spaces meeting before. Nobody wanted the responsibility, and Kathy and Tara took it upon themselves to at least try. And fake is always not going to be good, but to me, they paid for it out of the goodness of their heart, and I think it's good. It's a good thing to do.
There's a couple of them just need to be straightened out because there was still dirt in there. But one thing about it is they can be used over and over.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I did down at our place at the lake. We always were lucky enough to have the little old lady down on the deal come and water all flowers, and now that she's passed away, we bought fake flowers. But I mean,
They serve a purpose. Make it look better than just being empty. And maybe not. That's just my opinion.
As far as that goes, if somebody wants to take one over, I assume they could go out and plant their own plants and
well, I
just
thought
return the other
about
ones
that
to
too, but
Tara.
then they would not. At least this way, they're all like
The same,
consistent.
Uniform, yeah.
Yeah. So.
I know my brother and sister-in-law volunteered. So somebody volunteered to do all the flowers on Main Street in Clear Lake. And so they jumped in a little pickup that Clear Lake had, and watered each one of them, you know. So,
There was a woman over in Collins that volunteered, and she did all of their planters every year and did an amazing job. They always look so nice. It's a lot of work.
It is a lot of work.
It's a lot of work, and she unfortunately passed away this year. So now it's up to volunteers to take it over. And will it be even planted next year? I don't know. I hope so, but. And then I thought maybe we need to talk to Parks and Open Spaces Board about getting a committee for that. You know, like Collins had at one time an actual like flower committee, and they went to all the parks and all the places, and that's what they did. They weeded and watered, and so maybe we want to talk to them about doing something like that.
You might want to also talk about the entrance on the south end. I know that Kathy's been taking care of that for years, and I would imagine with her kids scooting out of school, that may not happen. So we may want to start talking about a lot of things that a lot of people are doing. Their kids are graduating, and we don't have any more.
Yeah.
Or at least developing
A plan.
opportunities where
Right.
people that want to do it.
Right. I mean, I think there's a lot of people in town that do like to do flowers and stuff. Maybe they would love to be on that committee.
Yeah, we could make it public and make flyers and say, hey, this is available. If anybody's interested, please let us know.
Yep.
Great idea.
Any other discussion?
Nope.
Good.
Good.
Lauren?
No, I don't have anything.
The deadline for the application for $15,000 is a week from this Friday at noon. So we need to sit down and look at those applicants. I've answered a few questions. I know Deb has had several questions about different things. So until we get all the applications in, we don't know if we even are going to be viable to use that money, because we have to have somebody in that 30% income bracket. So that's anticipating some good results a week from this Friday. I did have a conversation with Doug Rogers, who's the person that bought the Travis property. He is a realtor from Slater, family business. His wife is, he's a developer. His wife is a realtor. One of the daughter-in-laws is a realtor, and the son works for the company, one of the sons. So it's truly a family operation. Had a nice conversation with him the other day, visited about a lot of things, but he said nothing will happen this year. He's got 3 or 4 months of paperwork yet to get everything done. He is very interested in us setting up a TIF district for funding. We talked about the lift station a little bit, and which is going to tie in potentially with north of the trailer court, and potentially 3 areas then, with Scott Oak's property maybe working on that too. So that's an expense, but something that we are long view looking at. He did say right now the market is soft, interest rates are going the wrong way. He has something in Colfax that is he called shovel ready, that as soon as things look good, he said I'm not going to put $1 million in infrastructure until I have some people wanting to buy some lots. But that's number one. One and Slater is number two. We are number three. And he's optimistic that next year something will happen with that, but of course not committing at all. He's going to reach out to Snyder's. I told him we have done some preliminary work a few years ago looking at that possibility, but it sounds very promising. So I'm excited about that, real excited about that. But again, we're still 9 months off of making something happen. However, it's going to take some time. We're going to have to annex that. We're going to have to do lots of things. He doesn't want everything to be an estate lot size. He said, I'm looking at traditional. I did mention that we are looking at our twin home concept. He said, well, I'm not hot on that, but it's nice to know that that would be an option. So he just sounds real grounded. So I'm excited about that. So that's my big report.
Cool.
I do got something I forgot.
Yep.
The city clerk's notes here. Reminder about employee reviews so that there's any raises that go into effect in July. Where are we on those reviews?
That's me. I gotta get those done.
Okay.
I have to have it done before the end of the month.
So, didn't know where we or you or whoever was
Yep.
involved.
Is there a committee member to help you? There was a committee type thing or?
Megan?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Well, I wasn't, but yeah. I was in on the hiring one.
Yes. go ahead.
Sure, I'll volunteer for that one too.
Is that app out now for a 30-hour employee?
That's been posted.
Yeah, I think something was posted on it.
Any applicants on that? Any report from the sheriffs on the Mountain case?
I called the sheriff's office. They don't have the official report done yet.
Okay.
He's off until tomorrow. I do have the official report back from animal control. So I
Okay.
just got that today.
All right. Well, look at that before the end of the day. There is one applicant for the grant. If you guys want to review that today, just to get an idea of what the first grant takes, the minimum qualifications. For me, outside of that, I said a couple other citizen concerns that I'll be addressing with Tony. There was a potential tripping hazard out in front of, I think, the post office or somewhere along that block. I think they were the old flagpole pipes where they used to stick the flagpoles from Memorial Day. So it's about a 2-inch piece of pipe sticking up. I was going to look and talk to Tony and see if we still use those. If we don't use them, then probably should wash them off. So
Are you?
I
I was gonna say, if it's on the sidewalk, then that's where the old post office flagpole was. It wouldn't be where we set flags.
Okay.
So it'd be probably on them that they need to have that removed.
Well, it's on city property, so.
Or whoever.
On the sidewalk.
If it's on the sidewalk, it's our responsibility, so.
No,
No,
no, because it's our property, but the people owning the next to it it's their responsibility to maintain.
Thank you.
okay.
And if it's the post office, the school owns that building.
Is it the flagpole or is it
I have
the
to read
curb
it.
stop?
I haven't seen it yet, so I gotta take a peek at it.
Yeah.
But I'll take a peek at it and I'll get back to it.
'Cause,
So we can
yeah.
send a letter and have them see if they want to address it. If not, that's our liability. So I just wanted to ensure that we weren't liable for an issue that we need to take care of. I had a concern about one of the trees up at the cemetery over top of the sidewalk, what's up to the sidewalk, was hanging down. So I was going to get with Tony to see about if it's something that he can knock that down. Issue was brought up about cars being parked in the way of stop sign. So when you come to a specific stop sign, you can't spot. So we're working on addressing that. Then alley grading, do we know how far we got on that?
Alley
Yeah.
grading.
Oh,
No, is there specific, if you have specific alleys, let me know. He's kind of given those priorities to people that have actually complained.
All right, I'll give it to you.
You know who it was? I'll call him.
I don't remember.
All right,
So
so
while
that
you're
was,
talking to Tony, I know in the winter time we talked about it, but there's still 3 T-posts bent over on the corner that need to come up because it's gonna be, somebody's gonna run them over again. They've been run over. It looks
What
like
are
some
they?
T-posts that the owner put there for people not to,
Oh, I know where you're talking now.
Yeah.
Okay, yep,
and
yep.
they're painted yellow and
Mhm.
orange, but it's it's
Okay. And, go ahead, you finish. I just had a question.
okay,
So there's a stop sign I noticed today. Okay, I gotta get so this is third, second. Second. So the corner of Third and Metcalf. There's a temporary stop sign on the west end of the football field that's just sitting on the sidewalk. Do we know why? Why it's on the sidewalk and not in the ground somewhere?
where's that at?
Southwest corner of the football field. Is that
It'd
where
be
you are?
yes, southwest corner.
Which side of the intersection?
It's probably supposed to be part of the sidewalk project from this school,
Okay.
but I will check it out.
Yeah, if
It's
they
not
can
the
just
football
move
corner
it.
there?
Yeah, if they can just move it into like the grassy area where it should be probably placed anyway, instead of on the sidewalk
Well, I bet they
facing
took that, because they
the
took all
wrong
the,
area.
they took all the no parking signs down around the football complex too. In fact, one of the construction guys ran over one repeatedly, so it is mangled as can be, but they're still not back up either.
Mhm.
Not that that's not.
I just noticed
They
it
had
this
redone-
morning.
they had
I'm like,
redone
it's
the-
weird.
The ditch around and then seeded covered, so
Yeah.
I'm sure that there's still some work to be done, but all of this.
However,
Yeah.
Wes, you asked about this project. When Construct got done, they rebladed it, regraded everything on Woodlawn and all the way around, and it looked real good. But when they came and seeded it, they drug a bunch of dirt down, and now we've got the ditch about 6 inches higher than the tubes again. They were in good shape when Construct left it.
Okay,
But
they had come
people
back
put
in
the
and done
mats
some
down and
additional
everything
work.
else have
Yep.
raked it back downhill.
Yeah, those are different subcontractors. Usually their surface restoration is a seeding sub. I don't know who they got for that.
And then Ashford there, right behind the bleachers, that big tube comes out there and it's a jagged, dangerous mess. Because they've mutilated it, so something needs to happen there too.
Ashford behind the bleachers.
Right behind the home bleachers. There's a tube that comes
On
across the
the
road.
north
It's
side.
a newer,
North side
yeah,
of
it's a newer
Okay.
one. Yeah.
So those were concerns mentioned.
I'll cruise by and take a look.
nice thing about 5 o'clock meetings.
I was gonna say, nice thing about 5 o'clock meetings, like you just see stuff when we leave, yeah.
That's right.
All right, any other reports from the council?
We approved the consent agenda.
Second.
Discussion.
Everybody here for the meeting?
Yeah, because she was a call-in, and it's on there as a call-in, so
You
yeah.
called, so I think they're all good.
Second.
Lauren,
Second.
No further discussion? Roll the vote. Kim?
Yep.
Megan?
yes.
Doug?
Yes.
Lauren?
Yes.
Motion passed.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Discussion?
Well.
Meeting adjourned. We don't have to vote on it.
We're gonna vote, yeah.
Oh, we have to vote.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, jeez, oh, jeez.
Yeah, where are you going?
I don't
Lauren,
know. Yes.
Megan,
Yes.
Doug,
Yes.
Jack,
Yep.
thank you. Meeting adjourned.
Can we have your nugget? Yeah, he's measuring that. He's
Your gold nuggets.